You've probably seen them on patrol alongside their human counterparts. But how much do we know about how police dogs get the job? Hillsborough is home to one of the most prestigious police dog training schools in the country. But Britain was pretty slow in realising the potential of our four-legged friends. While the use of dogs was spreading worldwide, British police forces shunned the idea. Here at the Dog Training Centre in Hillsborough, a facility for breeding dogs was built in 1968. But it wasn't until 40 years later that the first litter was born here. Until recently, police dogs were brought in from independent breeders, but a shortage of good quality dogs has prompted South Yorkshire Police to start breeding their own. The first police dogs were pets, going on night patrols with their officers. It wasn't until the 1950s that they were officially made part of the police force. Today, police forces across the country are breeding their own dogs. It brings in a little bit of extra cash and they know exactly what they're getting. South Yorkshire Police have been running their own successful breeding scheme and they're now on their fourth litter of pups. The dog training school manager says the scheme has helped the unit operate more efficiently.
With a puppy breed system, A, we can guarantee the quality, B, we can guarantee the availability, and C, we can guarantee that we can get A and B at a reasonable cost.
Once the dogs are old enough, they're thrown in at the deep end with an intensive training course. As part of their weekly training, they're taught how to work effectively alongside both their handlers and the public.
So what we want the dog to do is to detain the person without coming into contact with them, and ideally it should be able to detain them and make a continually bark at them and keep surveillance on the person until the handler joins them and then finds out exactly what the chap was up to, and obviously if he was doing nothing wrong then we would apologise and send the person on his way.
Sleeping in isn't an option for Harry and his team. They're up and out and either training or on the beat by 8 o'clock every day. The dogs are taken to different places, like here in the Peaks, to help them experience different environments. They're taught how to track and search for missing people and objects, and biting techniques. This helps prepare them for real-life situations, where they'll be used to find bodies, sniff out drugs, and detect explosives, and forms the foundation for their canine career. Handlers are responsible for the dog every step of the way.
The little things that you do in the early days and weeks of a dog's life are equally important or more important than things you do later on. Dogs learn very quickly, and so the sooner you start with basic training, the better off it is. These particular dogs are on an initial course, and they'll be trained every day for 7 weeks.
But to get the dogs this far, the centre relies on willing volunteers who are responsible for them for the first 18 months of their lives. Today, D-Litter are meeting their new families and going to their new homes across South Yorkshire. The scheme is open to everybody, with families, couples and young people all taking part. Yeah, how did you find out about it?
On internet, yeah.
Did you just see it on the police website, or did you find it just... Did they advertise for it?
Guide dogs first, weren't we? And then we just found
West Midlands, you thought West Midlands did it, and then you looked if South Yorkshire did it, and
It's all smiles for the volunteers for now, but do they know what they're signing themselves up for? They'll have to keep track of the puppy's progress and make sure they meet the force's standards when they return in 18 months' time. After the centre sold over £10,000 worth of dogs to forces across the country last year, it's vital that this litter have the best possible start in life. As one of the most important elements of modern policing, dogs have regularly upstaged scientists' attempts to replicate their natural abilities. They say that a better alternative is a long way off.
Yeah, for screening tests, the dogs are brilliant. As I said, they don't have to go and stick their noses into things. So if you want a walk-by detector, which has to be more sensitive, then the science isn't quite there yet, whereas the dog can do that.
It's been a long day here at the Puppy Breeding Centre, with all but 2 of the pups going to their temporary homes. But in 18 months they'll be back to start the rigorous training scheme which will put them through their paces as they become working police dogs.